Hi, this is Janet Roper, animal communicator and educator, and I'm here today to talk to you about what are your plans for helping the animals in 2018. Um, we're all wrapping up 2017, and we're getting ready for the big changeover, moving from 2017 to 2018. And my question for you is, how are you going to be helping the animals? And I know that can be a really big, intimidating and massive question. It can be frightening. As a matter of fact, that question of how are you going to help those animals, Janet? What are you going to do that you haven't done before? That can actually be paralytic for me. And I could just go down that rabbit hole of not knowing what I'm going to do, if I'm doing enough, how I'm going to help the animals. And then thinking in those rabbit hole terms of my mind just spinning and spinning and spinning, and sometimes actually getting physically ill with the way my mind is spinning, then that just leads to paralysis. And I'm going, I don't know how I can do anything. I don't know how I can help the animals. It's too massive. It's too big for me to fix. And, okay, this isn't going to be music to anybody's ears, but the way we treat our animals, it is a big problem. It is massive, okay? And everybody knows that, and we all get frightened about it. And we can all be led to that place of, if I don't do anything, then, what's going to happen? And then we can be also led down that rabbit hole like I have been of, I don't know what to do because it's too massive. So I'm just going to freeze and do nothing and hope that somebody else will do it. Well, I have some good news for you, and I do not mean that facetiously. I mean this most sincerely from the depth of my heart, okay? Because, again, when we get into that big thinking that we've got to do something to the nth degree, or that we've got to go to Africa to help the animals, or that we've got to go to India, or we've got to go to the opposite side of the United States from where we live, or we've got to help with the animals with the fires, or we've got to help with the animals with the floods. Don't get me wrong. There are people who are needed to do that and who are called to do that. What I'm talking about is the everyday actions that we can do that make a honking big difference in the way the animals live from day to day. And we forget about that. So what I'm going to invite you to do in 2018 is to look where your feet are planted. Look at where your feet are planted. Look at what's right under your nose. How can you help the animals where your feet are planted and what's right under your nose? That means the animals in your own backyard. That means the animals that are in your own home. That means the animals that are in your neighborhood. Okay? So what I want you to think about, if you're not coming up with any ways, right off the top of your head, that you can help in that way, I've got some for you because I've been thinking about it and I've been wanting to share it with you. So one of the ways that you can help the animals that are in your neighborhood, that are right there where your feet are planted, that are right there under your nose, is feed the birds in your backyard. Take care of the animals in your backyard. Okay, put out food for them, put out water for them. If it's wintertime, make sure that the water doesn't get frozen. If it's summertime, make sure that you're cleaning out, and well, actually wintertime too, make sure you're cleaning out the buckets, the water containers, to keep them safe and healthy and safe from disease. Clean the feeders out occasionally. Feed the wildlife. When I lived in Minnesota, I was on an acre and I had this lovely wraparound, so to speak, of 2 rows of pine trees, and the deer would always come under there. And my neighbors on both sides of me gardened. I did, but it was flower garden, not food garden. So I started putting out feed for the deer that came. And my neighbors, both of them were kind of, not happy with me because they're going, that's just going to lead the deer to eat our plants that we're growing here. And I'm going, you know what? I'm going to keep those deer fed. And I'm always going to make sure that there's a deer block out there. And I did. I made sure that there were blocks out there for the deers to eat. And I don't know if that helped my neighbors or not. I'm sure the deer still got in their garden because, that's what deer do. But it did, I think, help the neighbors understand that I wasn't drawing the animals there so that they could eat their garden, but I was drawing the animals so they could have a safe place to eat. If you do live on some property, you can also plant a garden that is bee and bird friendly. And all you need to do is Google bee and bird friendly gardens, and you'll see tons of ideas that are specific to your area. Again, I'm talking about what's in your area, under your feet, under your nose, that you can do to help the animals. If you have a neighbor that is elderly, okay, maybe you go over there, and if you're in the wintertime, like it is here in Missoula and it's snowing like crazy, you can say, hey, can I shovel out a path for you to take your dog out, or to let your dog out so that he or she can go about and do their business in your backyard. Or maybe you offer to walk the dog for them. They have a cat, maybe it's cleaning the litter box, okay? Maybe it's the next time you go to the store, you pick up an extra bag, a feed, that your elderly neighbor might be able to use. So there's all kinds of ways that we can help the animals that are right in our backyard and that are right in our own neck of the woods. If there's an animal that is lost, okay, and you see it on social media, share it. All right. Social media has a really big reach. It's as much as I am on social media and as much as I realize that, sometimes when I see that actual connection happen, I am shocked. So if you see a lost animal on social media, please share it and put where the animal is, the area, okay? If you have an animal that's lost in your neck of the woods, in your neighborhood, then ask the neighbor, hey, what can I do to help? Do you want me to go out and search for your animal? Do you want me to go put up flyers? Do you want me to go visit the local police store or police station or the local pet stores? Or do you want me to go visit the local vets to see if they have your animal? There's all kinds of things that you can do that are right there in your neck of the woods, that are under your feet, under your nose. I think one of the biggest things that all of us need to do, and this will make an incredible big difference, okay, is that we become role models. I know that those of you who are listening to this video, that I am preaching to the choir, that you are doing the best that you can for the animals. And there are people out there who need to learn from us what it means to help the animals. And maybe what it means is not having the dog outside when it's too cold or too hot, okay? Maybe what it means is not letting the cat out at night, okay? Particularly if they don't have claws and can't protect themselves. So those of us who really understand what it means to help animals and what it means to go that extra step with the animals, we need to become the role models for people in our lives. And that's people of all ages. And I think it's particularly important with kids. Because when we role model to the kids, again, let's go to the kids in your family, the kids in your neighborhood. When you are role modeling what it is to be an advocate for the animals, the kids will pick that up and they will start doing that. Now, again, I want people to think, I invite you to think of what you can do locally, not globally, because it's locally where we can make the difference. And it's locally, at least in my experience, and from what I've heard of others, it's locally where we make that difference and where we are truly called to help the animals. Yes, there are going to be people who are called to go save the whales. There are people who are called to go save the dolphins. But that is not the majority. The majority of us are called to do it right in our own neck of the woods. And how easy is that? Because it takes off the guilt that you got to travel someplace to help the animals, okay? It really adds to our own self-confidence that, you know what, I went out and I put out some bird feed. We're so used to thinking of things in the big picture that we don't think of things in the small, what we can do every day. So when we find those things that we're called to do to help the animals, we're going to find that it's going to be easy. And it's going to be obvious. And it's probably something that you might have been thinking about, I've been meaning to do that anyway. Well, boom, when you think of it as a way to help the animals, that becomes your way to help the animals in your neck of the woods where your feet are planted and what's right under your nose, okay? That's the best way that we can help the animals. So if you have any questions about what you are called to do to help with the animals, particularly coming up in 2018, okay, when we're being called to step into who we are and to do our bit in the world to make the world a better place, okay? If you have any questions with that, what does it look like for you personally to help the animals? Make sure you contact me. I can help you with that, okay? This is Janet Roper, animal communicator and educator, wishing you a good closure for 2017 and a great opening for 2018.